What's up, my Yu-Gi Bros? I'm your host, the one, the only, the RJB0. Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Business Casual. Here it is, the list for Fall 2014. I actually absolutely love this list. There are a couple of things that I am not happy with. The first being that that Vanity's Emptiness did not get hit. I really hate Floodgate cards, but in general, I am actually pretty A-okay with this list. Starting off with the fact that Glow Up Bulb got limited. Who called it? I called it. That is who. Pick up that phone because I am the one who called it. Infernity Archfiend got limited, which is actually kind of concerning to me because my entry to the next great YouTuber didn't go up before the list got announced, and that says that, and I didn't say anything about the possibility of Konami hitting Infernities in it, and that actually is kind of relevant to the video, so that may not be so hot. So this list may have just knocked me out of the next great YouTuber, but, you know, whatever. Let's move on to Raigeki, and this is actually an interesting thing. Because I feel like since Dark Hole hardly does anything, Dark Hole is an objectively card, that I think that Raigeki is actually okay for the game. I don't really have a massive issue with Raigeki because there are so many decks in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now that, well, they don't have a problem with their monsters being destroyed. They have a problem with their plays being stopped, but a lot of them don't have an issue with their monsters being destroyed. Why? Well, because either A, their monsters gain an effect from being destroyed, or B, their monsters on the field aren't the way that they gain advantage. A lot of these decks don't really require field presence in order to operate. They gain their advantage by adding cards to their hand, or by setting back row. So having Raigeki in the game isn't actually a huge deal, since most of us don't even use Dark Hole anymore. So I am absolutely okay with that. Soul Charge is limited. I say that's good. There are a lot of decks that needed to get that hit. Super Polymerization to 1, that's interesting. It's okay. Like, I never thought that Super Poly was, like, really a problem for the game. Like, it really sucks to get hit with Super Poly, but, like, it isn't the end of the game. It isn't an extremely broken card. So that's okay. I like Gale and Gores too. That's super cool. You might see some more mashy decks come to the scene with Gores at 2, but you're probably not. Like, my thing about Gores is it doesn't do anything right now, and I don't think it's going to do anything at 2. It'll be nicer for the more, like I said, for the more mashy decks. There are possibly some, like, Chaos variants that may get a little bit of a boost, and maybe not a competitive boost, but at least, like, be able to play at a local level more easily. Blackwing Gale the Whirl 1-2 really doesn't affect anything. Blackwings aren't going to be relevant even if Gale is at 3. Ceasefire to 2. That's okay. I've actually seen a Burning Abyss player yesterday at Locals who won like 5 games because of Ceasefire. Ceasefire isn't really a huge issue. This is going to make Chainburn like more competitive in a slight amount, but like Decree is a thing, so I'm not afraid of Chainburn that much. Transmigration Prophecy to 3 or to 2 is interesting. I really like this card. It's really good for combating Lightsworn Rulers. So I like that card because it is another out for Lightsworn Rulers, which is a deck that I have an issue with. But other than that, it doesn't have a huge number of applications to the game right now. So that's a thing. Unlimited Cold Soldier Wolfbark. Whoop-de-doo, we are getting Fire Fist back. And the reason is because Fire Fist aren't doing anything, and they're not going to do anything in the format even with Coach Soldier Wolfbark. Well, why is that? Well, because think about this. So Teller Knights. You don't really worry about your monsters getting destroyed by bear, so that's not really an issue. And there's so many ways to take out a Wolfbark that's not going to be an issue for the deck. Burning Abyss, destroy your monster with bear. It's just going to replace itself. And against Shadows, you're never going to want to use Wolfbark because you're just going to give them the opportunity to Shadow Fusion from their deck. So I think that Wolfbark makes sense to come back to 3. Magician of Faith to 3. We all saw this coming. Formula Synchron to 3. I've been waiting for this for a long time because Formula Synchron hasn't done anything since it got limited. It's like, It's totally irrelevant. With Qliphort at 1 now, I think it's possible that Formula Synchron might see a little bit more play, but like it's not going to see play at 2 or 3. Nobody's going to play it at more than 1. So having it unlimited is not an issue. And Rhoda is an interesting one. There are so many search cards in the game right now that having Rhoda even at 2 doesn't make any sense. So while I predicted that there was a possibility that they were going to hit tanky because of the of the number of decks that are profit sinks for Konami that rely on tanky, I think that like search cards are not a huge issue for the game right now. There are just a ton of search cards for the really relevant decks, the decks that a lot of people don't want to, like, a lot of people don't want to see gaining support, and basically none of those gain any more support from Rhoda being at 2. Like, Satellar Knights don't need any more search cards. Like, I don't think any Satellar Knight player is going to run triple Rhoda. Honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. So there we go. That is the list. That is my reaction to the list. I think it's a pretty good list. I'm really disappointed that my video didn't go up for the next great YouTuber before this list came out, because this list basically invalidated one of the top 4 on my top 10. So oh well. Anyway, my only other issue is that Vanity's Emptiness and Skill Drain didn't get hit, which means that Qliphorts are going to wreck our shit, but we all knew that that was going to happen anyway, so we might as well, you know, not complain about that. There you guys go. I actually like this list. I hope you guys like this list as well. That is what we are stuck with for the time being. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you did, let me know why in the comment section below. And of course, subscribe for more decks, discussions, analysis, and analysis? What is analysis? Decks, discussion, analysis, and general Yu-Gi-Oh! Shenanigans. Thank you guys for watching. I'm your host, the one, the only, the RJB0, and I got a jet. See you guys.